My beloved FreeMelons, welcome back to the secret classroom here at the FreeMelon Society, where we teach you only the most important truths of natural law and natural science and the principles that govern the self and the principles that govern the world around you. I am Martyr, and this lecture is almost guaranteed to win me the antipathy of vast swaths of my viewership and people who are not subscribers to this channel, because I'm going to be turning my gaze on an aspect of our culture that has, without a question, become absolutely indispensable to life as we know it and to life as we live it. Coffee. Coffee. Oh my goodness. Oh, if you only knew the spell that you were under. Coffee, it's everywhere. You can't go around a street corner without seeing a coffee shop. It is ubiquitous. There's almost no such thing anymore as waking up in the morning without grabbing your stimulant fix to get you going, because your energy isn't generated endogenously. No, you need another external source of energy. We'll get to that, in order to just get you up in the morning and to have you functioning properly. Does that sound normal to you? But not only that. Not only do you need coffee to get you up and moving in the morning, but later on in the day, if you've just so happened to have some sort of expenditure of energy that taxes your reserves a little bit more than normal, well, we need more coffee in order to get us through the day. More coffee. That's the answer, right? And it's so bloody normal. Everybody does it. It doesn't matter who you are. Athletes, couch potatoes alike. All are equally ensnared by the tyrannical grasp of this coffee addiction, being none the wiser to the effects on their bodies. And my beloved brothers and sisters, my job here is to teach you the unadulterated, unrefined truth about coffee. Nowhere on YouTube will you find another video that is going to divulge the true nature of stimulants like coffee and pepper and spices and whatnot, but we're going to focus on coffee. You are not going to hear a lecture like this anywhere else as far as I've seen. Giving you the true, tangible information without recourse to any kind of scientific stuff. I'm not going to be talking about ATP and Krebs cycles and neural pathways and I'm not going to be talking about any of that. I'm going to be relating to you in a way that you can easily understand in seconds, just by watching this lecture once, and you will know what you need to know for the rest of your life. That's what I'm hoping to achieve with this lecture. Now you add to this mix, the whole ketogenic crowd and all the other types of articles that you can pull up and extolling the benefits of coffee. The coffee business has exploded. Of course, they're going to release countless droves of scientific articles in support of a huge business. It was no different with smoking in the mid-1900s because of the immense sway of lobbyists and the individual manufacturers of the cigarettes, or the coffee in this case, subsidizing and paying to draw up beneficial conclusions to the benefits of the product that they're trying to sell. How else do you think this works? It's a joke now. We have thousands of memes, just cracking jokes here and there. Oh, coffee this, need my coffee. Oh, I'm dead without coffee. I have no life without coffee. Coffee this, need coffee. I want coffee. It's just like, yeah, it's great to make jokes, but then if you just go and do that behavior every single day, and you are literally coffee's bitch, well, come on guys, wake up here. I am here to teach you freedom. I'm trying to empower you with wisdom that you can take and apply to your life that will give you freedom from as many things as possible. The more you are able to not need a thing, the more power you have in this world to conduct your life as you see fit. If you are a coffee drinker, imagine how much more control you have over your day if you do not need coffee ever. It's freedom. And a bit off topic, but obviously with my diet and whatnot, with very, very strict minimalism, needing almost nothing throughout the day, it's freeing. It's freedom. I wish you knew how liberating it is to not need. Right? To not need to go out to the restaurants, to not need to go to the grocery store and come home with hordes of food. God, it's freedom, guys. So this is what I'm teaching you, okay? So anyway, I tell you, ditching coffee is the better way, and I'm going to show you why. Okay, so in our current state as humans, we have a problem. we do not discriminate between the surface appearance of a thing and the actual nature of the thing that is being observed. I'll give you an example. Two people walk into a walk-in clinic, okay? The first person has a terrible diet. He eats junk food, he eats potato chips, he eats just all sorts of nonsense, soda pop and all that crap. The doctor looks at him, prescribes some sort of steroid cream or whatever. He says, yeah, take this. Doesn't bother asking him what his diet is like. No. Why would that be important? Person number two walks into the walk-in clinic. Person number two has been living a very clean, raw food diet, but he's transitioning from a terrible diet. He had pretty clear skin, but maybe several weeks into his regime, he breaks out in pimples, okay? Because his body's in detox mode. He goes to the walk-in clinic, the clinician looks at him, sees the pimples in the exact same way as he saw the first person, and just prescribes the exact same steroid cream and says, here's the steroid cream, try it, Doesn't bother asking him what his diet and lifestyle was. Who cares? Not important, right? Two completely different reasons for an effect that only on the surface seems similar. That's where we are right now. We see the surface appearance of a thing. We take that for the reality without closer scrutinization of the underlying foundations that govern that effect. Okay, why did I just tell you that little story? Let's get into it. I'm going to be talking about the law of stimulation and stimulants like coffee and other stimulants, but primarily focusing on coffee. In terms of stimulation, there are two types of stimulation. There are vital stimuli and there are non-vital stimuli. Vital stimuli are stimuli that are essential to the growth, maintenance, and life of the organism and contribute to the formation of its living tissue. Examples of vital stimuli would be sunlight, air, water, food, okay? These are all vital stimuli. All of these are essential for life, and they contribute to the formation of tissue as well as its maintenance and its growth, its regeneration, all of these things, okay? Very easy to understand. Non-vital stimuli are stimuli that are not essential to life, but however, exert an exciting or hastening effect on the metabolic functions of the organism by taxing its own energy reserves, okay? Here is a major point that you must understand, okay? If there's anything you take away from this lecture, it's this point that I'm going to make right now. Vital stimuli provide invigoration to the organism by yielding it energy. Non-vital stimuli stimulate the organism into taxing its own reserves, okay? There is a huge difference between the two. Vital stimuli give you energy. Non-vital stimuli take away your energy by quickening everything up and speeding up the entire process, not giving you anything, but just expediting your own expenditure of energy, okay? I can't make it any more clear than that. I hope you understand. Examples of non-vital stimuli, drugs, all prescription medications, okay? Poisons of any kind, electricity, like electroshock, pressure, extremes of temperature, extremes of hot, extremes of cold, right? None of these things, you'll notice, as differentiating themselves from things like sunlight and food and whatnot, are not essential to life, but they exert an effect on the body whereby they do things, metabolic changes, but they're not essential, okay? So you gotta know that. Now, as I said before, we as humans do not discriminate, we do not differentiate between the two things, invigoration and stimulation. Invigoration, stimulation. Wildly different things, okay? All right, so I think you guys get it. I'm sure you're following along with me. There's nothing scientific here that should be causing any confusion up to this point. But just to make it even more clear, I'm going to give you an example. Let's say you've got a guy who's building chairs, and he runs his chair business, and he just makes chairs because that's what he loves to do. Maybe it's his side job. And so every individual chair, he takes his time, and whenever it's ready, he sells it. Okay, that's what he likes to do. Okay, now, what happens if some exogenous entity, some force, comes and exerts a demand on him and says, you must provide this many chairs by this time tomorrow? And let's say it's a heavy workload. He's got to produce 10, 20 chairs by tomorrow. What happens? Okay, so that exogenous entity is now acting as the stimulant to the person. Understand? What happens to the efficiency and the love and the care that goes into his construction of a chair? It, by necessity, decreases, right? So he's got to crank out all these chairs, but he's doing it under impaired conditions, and he's just hastily trying to whip things together and screw. So the quality of each chair is going to go lower and lower and lower and lower, right? Lesser quality for each individual chair. Some of them might be faulty. Some of them might not even work properly. The nails are just hastily hammered in there, right? So what do you have? You have an increased output, right? But you have drastically decreased efficiency and quality, right? Now, by the end of that period, that worker is going to be thoroughly exhausted. So what he's going to need time to rest. Now, if that same company were to come in the very same day that all the chairs were due and say, hey, we need another 30 chairs in 5 hours. Okay, you can see where this is going, right? Okay, how do I relate this to the absurd phenomenon of coffee drinking going on worldwide in developed cultures right now? I'm just going to read you what I wrote here just to save some time. So, what is happening in the body when we take a stimulant? The action of a stimulant is not the action of the energy being given. A stimulant is an agent that causes a stirring up and expenditure of the organism's own nervous force in response to the stimulant. Thus, since the stimulant causes an expenditure of the organism's own energy, when the effects of the stimulant wear off, the organism by law, must be left in an energy deficit. So anytime you introduce something to your body that isn't essential for life, that doesn't give you energy, but taxes your own energy reserves, there's no other way that it could possibly work but to leave you in an energy deficit, requiring rest and recuperation before you can recover from that stimulant. But of course, what do? When the effects of that stimulant wear off, well, we just grab another cup of coffee, and then another cup of coffee. And I'll get to it later, but the effects on your organs and system with this abuse over time is pretty ridiculous, and you don't want that. Trust me. Now, before this makes complete and utter sense, there's one more thing that I have to get into. Here's the second major takeaway that I need you to understand about this. Irritation, the phenomenon of irritation, and stimulation, the phenomenon of stimulation, are exactly the same thing. Okay? Let me repeat that. Irritation and stimulation are the same. They are the same. That which irritates also stimulates. You rub cayenne pepper into your eyes, it's an irritation, and your body is stimulated into action, and it causes an excess effulgence of tears and whatnot to try and expel the poison, okay? You eat hot peppers, it's an irritant, it's a bodily irritant. Your body is then stimulated into activity. Everything gets hot, you start sweating, right? It's a stimulant. Irritation and stimulation, same thing. Okay, now listen closely, guys. This is the law of stimulation that I'm about to give you right now. So when I say the law of stimulation, this is what I'm talking about. When an irritant is introduced into the body of the organism, it causes a vital resistance to the irritating agent, as well as an excitation of the system, which manifests as increased yet impaired action. Just like the analogy we gave above of the guy trying to make chairs, right? Increased but impaired action. The strength and, now listen to this, the strength and the severity of this impairment are in the exact same proportion to the strength and severity of the irritant. Let me say that one more time. The strength and severity of this impairment are the exact same proportion to the strength and severity of the irritant. Thus, the greater the degree that the stimulant accelerates action in the body, the greater the degree of impairment in that same body. This is why I started off the lecture by saying that we take the surface appearance of things as the reality. We don't make these discriminations between stimulation and invigoration. Think of it like a bank loan. The more money you take from the bank, let's say you want to buy a house, right? The bigger the loan, the worse in the hole you are, and the more interest you pay in the long term. So the bigger the loan, the worse you will do financially in the future, right? Think of it that way, right? So the more powerful the stimulant, the worse for you, the more energy you are deprived of. Okay, I think you guys get it so far. All that's left for me to do to clarify this 100% is to give you a general guideline of what happens in your body when a stimulant is taken, a bit more specifically without getting into the sciencey stuff. Okay, so the stimulant is ingested. The agent of stimulation moves through the entire body via the blood system, and it starts a systemic quickening, a hastening, an exciting effect on all of the tissues that it comes in contact with. These tissues, as I just said, become excited, right? They become invigorated, not invigorated, but stimulated, excited. This excitation of the body tissues is the natural response of the organs to an irritant. The reason that these tissues are becoming so excited in response to the irritant is because they are trying to increase their metabolic functional rate so that it can speedily eliminate that irritant from the body as fast as it can, right? So it sees the irritant and it says, holy shit, right? What the hell is this? And it excites all of its functions. Remember what I said about the cayenne peppers, for example. You rub it in your eye, what happens? Everything gets excited. And so there's this outpouring of tears and fluids, like your nose starts running and all of this stuff, right? Why? It's trying to get rid of the irritant from your system. Now, you might feel extra heat in your system, in your body. You might feel warmed up, pumped up, but that's just the effect of your body trying to eliminate the crap, not you having energy. So, let me drive it home one more time. The increased energy experienced in the organism when an irritant or stimulant, same thing, are taken into the body is simply a constitutional excitation of the entire system in an attempt to expel the irritant, which temporarily feels like increased energy. Does that make sense? I hope this is making sense so far. I used the term vital resistance earlier in the definition. This is what I mean by vital resistance. Vital resistance being the body's attempt to resist an irritant and cast it out, okay? Or its subsequent heightened action in order to dispel the agents of stimulation. Now, once the irritant has left the body tissues, your bloodstream is carried to your heart, your lungs, your pancreas, your spleen, your liver. The whole bloody system just goes crazy, heightening its action, trying to expel. Get it out! Get it out! Get the stimulants out! Right? You have energy on the outside, so you go and expend more energy. You're like, oh, I feel great. You do a little bit of exercise, you can get through the day, you have less brain fog temporarily, okay, whatever. Now the irritant is gone. It's out of your body. All of the energy that your system consumed, burned, trying to get rid of all that junk, and all the musculoskeletal energy that you burnt, thinking that you had energy on this stimulant. Now there's the crash. You are left with a deficit of energy. Obviously, naturally, this is just plain as day, common sense chemistry, right? The body and the tissues are left in a state of complete exhaustion. The only way to recover from exhaustion is rest. Everything else is secondary, supplementary, or just a complete joke. This is Mother Nature's magic. There is no getting around this. There's no argument against this. In order to recover from exhaustion, rest is required. Of course, what else could it be, right? The only way to get rest from a stimulant is to not take the stimulant, right? To let your physiology recover. Now, it gets worse. And I'll use an analogy to explain how it can get worse. Imagine you're someone who likes exercise. And Monday you wake up and you just kill it. You exercise all day, hard, all day, right? Just exhaust yourself. This is so obvious, guys. What do you need to do in order to recover from that bout of exercise? You need to rest. Naturally, obviously. If you try to do the exact same thing you did on Monday, on Tuesday and Wednesday and Thursday, and what do you think will be the effect on your body? Not only will you not make strength gains, not only will you not make size gains, you won't, you're just going to be continually weakening your system over and over because there's no rest, right? You cannot just excite yourself over and over and over and over and over with no rest. Obviously. It's no different with coffee drinking. Not only does the stimulant drain you temporarily on the day that you do it, but it gradually cripples all of your metabolic functions and all of your tissues over time, so long as the stimulant is continually engaged in. It continues to impair function over and over and over because it is not given sufficient time to rest. So what does that look like on the outside? It looks like weakened immunity. It looks like you get colds and flus every once in a while. Your body is not able to fight off these poisons. It looks like lymphatic congestion. It looks like, and it smells like bad odors, right? As your body is unable to, elimination channels are compromised. Worse bowel movements. Glands have impaired secretion, right? They're just getting too worked up, right? They're flooded with stimulants. So they are not able to, on their own, regulate their own hormone release and protein synthesis. Name a function in your body. And a stimulant used over and over and over and over will impair that function, right? Acid buffering mechanisms are impaired. So you have more acidity in your system. Let's not forget that coffee in itself is acidic. So, on and on and on it goes, guys. Right? There's no end to this. Ladies and gentlemen, coffee is not good for you. It is a poison. It is an irritant. It is a stimulant. It is in the same ballpark as other stimulants like salt, like peppers, like spices, caffeine, teas, caffeinated teas, like the green teas and black teas and whatnot, right? If you want teas, you want herbal extracts, non-caffeine related herbal extracts, like parsley and basils and cinnamon teas and whatnot. Those are okay. You don't want caffeinated teas. These are stimulants. Chocolate is a ridiculous stimulant. You do not want to be eating chocolate. But coffee is one of the most widespread of these, and it's one of the most ubiquitous, and it's one of the most pernicious in its effects. If you're one of those people that think there are benefits to drinking coffee, I have news for you. You can get the benefits of drinking coffee anywhere else in the raw eating world, right? And without the poison and the corruption that comes with drinking coffee. There's no benefit that coffee bestows in your system that you cannot get in a better, cleaner way elsewhere. Okay? Ridiculous. There's no argument against this. Okay? I'm sorry. One of the easiest ways to tell if something is suitable for you or not is if you take away that thing, are there withdrawal symptoms associated with it? Why the withdrawal symptoms? Because it's a poison. It's a poison. Your body gets corrupted and it gets addicted to these things, right, that are not essential to life, and it starts relying on them. So it rebels until eventually the body gets enough rest and it starts being able to produce its own energy once again. It's the same thing with things like bread and wheat products, drugs, alcohol, all of these things. These are all stimulants, right? There are withdrawal symptoms. And if there are withdrawal symptoms, it's not meant for you. Whatever nature's intention for the coffee bean is, that's what it's meant to do. It's not food for you. You're not meant to grind it to a pulp and make coffee out of it. I can take watermelons and I can eat watermelon for a year straight. And if at the end of the year someone says, you can't have watermelon anymore, will there be withdrawal symptoms? No, there will not. Why? Because watermelon is a food that is designed for my system. It is a natural food that helps me build living tissue. It is a vital stimuli. There are no withdrawal symptoms associated with eating watermelon. I don't care how long I eat it for. If someone deprives me of my watermelon, then picking up a mango or something is just as satisfying. No withdrawal symptoms. Not the case with coffee. Okay? Ladies and gentlemen, fellow FreeMelons, thank you so much for listening in to this lecture. This was a very, very important one. And I know there are lots of coffee drinkers out there. My intention is not to offend or whatnot. My only ambition here is to empower you. I want you to feel how empowering it is to not need these things and to have good and full energy all throughout the day without recourse to any sort of unnatural stimulus. And if you can break away from the tyrannical clutches of coffee, it is only then that you will notice how worse off you were before when you needed coffee. Okay, so I can't stress this strongly enough. Kick the coffee habit. Get rid of it. Go cold turkey. Go through the withdrawal symptoms. Tough it out. Be strong. It's the withdrawal symptoms that tell you how sick you really were all throughout the time while you were having coffee, right? That sickness was hiding in your body all that time. You just didn't know it because you kept doing coffee over and over and over again. Man up. If you're a woman, woman up. Ditch the coffee, get healthier, realize your own abundant source of energy, and live a happier, healthier life. Thank you so much for joining me. I'm Eli once again, and if this lecture was helpful, make sure to subscribe to the FreeMelon Society. Become a FreeMelon today. I try to give you information that is very, very real and very natural, trying to clear the clutter and clear the confusion from all the lies and deceptions of culture. So subscribe to this channel. We only have more content coming your way. And if there are people that drink coffee in your life that you know of, share this video, because again, as I said, I don't know of anywhere else where there's a video that has gone into the types of detail that I have on this video. So this one is pretty unique. Thank you again, everyone, and we'll see you next time in the secret classroom here on the FreeMelon Society.